Go ahead.
Thank you. Okay, guys, welcome to the summer session. This is the first class of the summer session. We're very excited to be able to offer um, with your excellent instructor, um, the NapaLearns Virtual Career Academy um, programming with Python. This is part one. After this session is over, you can test for a certificate called, it's the PCEP, but Nasser can tell you more about what that means because I don't remember the acronym. And then there will be a part two in the fall. So very exciting stuff. And I just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Michelle Dahlberg, and I am the program director for the Virtual Career Academy. And my job is to help get the classes set up and, find instructors like Nasser, and then, help you guys succeed. It's really important for you guys to feel supported. And obviously you have the instructor. He's also going to introduce you to his teaching assistant. But if you need help, if there are technical difficulties, if you need help just making a plan for, how to get caught up if you get behind, things like that, you can always reach out to me. When I'm done, I will pop my email into the chat, but or you can call or text. I'll put that information in as well. This is a 10-week course, and so it's really important that you stay engaged throughout. I do have some tips for success that I want to go over. And you guys have been dealing with online learning for a while, so you probably know all these, but it's always good to reiterate, how to succeed in a virtual environment. Um, Start by creating a space for learning. And that can be at home. You can switch up your space, but make sure you have a good space, good Wi-Fi, all of the things that you need. And set daily goals for studying. Typically for this class, I think you're going to spend somewhere between 5 and 8 hours per week on outside of the Zoom. The model is that you're doing this work accessing, NetAcad to get the videos, to do the learning on your own, and then we're going to do, the weekly check-ins. So you can get feedback from your peers, working together as a group. Our former students have told us that actually is helpful. So it's really important that if you're going to do 5 hours, you could plan an hour a day, or you could plan 2 hours, whatever works for you, but make sure you actually plan it and schedule that time on your calendar. I know it's summer, you guys might have some more flexibility, which is good. So you can make it work with your schedule. You need to be actively engaging with the course materials. You cannot just come to the Zoom class and expect to succeed in this course. It's really important that you get into the NetAcad, do the work. You can help yourself by keeping yourself accountable. Part of that is setting your daily goals, but don't ever forget that if you're running into trouble, reach out. You can reach out to, if it's content related, make sure you reach out, to Nasser or Kyle. If, you're having difficulties with other things, like finding the time, I am here to make sure that you have the support you need. And so I can help you come up with a plan. I'm not the Python person, so if you have Python questions, don't reach out to me. I would love to learn it someday. Now is not the time. Too hectic trying to get this stuff launched. But and don't forget to schedule yourself some breaks. It's summer. Enjoy yourself at times too. So make sure that you do the work, but take breaks, enjoy your summer, and then get, you know, all too soon, it's going to be time for classes in the fall again. So that's my little bit. Does anybody have any questions for me specifically? Okay, I will turn it back over to Nasser then.
Thank you. Thanks, Michelle. Yeah, those are good, really good tips for success. Um, yeah, it is programming, by the way, is this extremely, well, can be extremely time consuming, especially if you're stubborn and you want to get something done, and you'll be chasing an error in the program for hours and hours, and so depending on whether you want to stick around um, or just give up, which I hope you want to stick around. It could be time consuming. So just keep that in mind. Yeah, like Michelle said, 5 to 8 hours a week outside of this class. So we meet from 6 to 7 every Wednesday night. And I'll show you what the course looks like, and we have a schedule of activities. I have homework assignments for you guys. That's due every week. So they have firm due dates. And the purpose of the homework assignments is just to measure your understanding of the concepts that you read in a module. All the modules, by the way, everything is available for you. So if you want to, move ahead and do the things, redo your readings, that's perfectly fine. But this is a 10-week class. So obviously this first week is just going to be an introduction, and I'll just talk about basically, about what Python is and what computer programming is all about. But then after that, you could read ahead, and the modules in Python course have a lot of little exercises to do just to reinforce your reading. So those are good that you should always try, attempt those exercises. But my assignments are going to have a different flavor. A lot of it, you have to write code, and really what this class does, my goal isn't really to prepare you to take a certification exam. I'm hoping you actually learn how to program, how to code, and how to critically think, and how to solve problems, right? So my purpose isn't really to just give you all the answers so you could click on multiple choice, questions and get 70% to pass it and get a certification in your hand. So that's not my goal. But I'm confident that if you read the material and do the exercises, complete the assignments, you'll do really well on the certification exam. So I'm going to take a breather. Are there any questions before I show you my screen and just tell you about the course? Nope. Questions? Okay, good. Okay, so you should see my screen. So now the first question, I guess, is, actually, the first thing was for me to offer you an introduction. So my name is pronounced first name Nasser and last name Haravi. And I'm actually a full-time professor at the College of Southern Nevada in Las Vegas. So I teach Python, Java, C, C++, and our Oracle database courses. So and I've been teaching, I think, for 25 years now, full time at the college. Um, and I've been a software developer before I did teaching. Um, and obviously, I'll be your facilitator, your instructor, hoping that I can answer your questions and hopefully you have a good learning experience. So first of all, did you all get a email message from me trying to activate your account? Is everyone here? Anyone who doesn't have access to the, now I have a list of, is Maria here? Maria Rodriguez? Maria, are you here? No. How about Leslie Salinas? If you are here and you want to talk in the if you don't have a microphone, can you put something in the chat? Let's see here. Leslie. Oh, Leslie, I think you're in chat. So let me go ahead and look at the chats on this other screen. Oh, Leslie, when I sent you an email, I get a message that it wasn't delivered. Were you able to log into the NetAcad course, Leslie? You weren't? Yeah, because that it somehow that email message that we have on file for you, it bounced. So after the class, maybe Leslie, can you send me another email address that you use? And then, and then I'll tell you, by the way, you guys see this? My email address is just nasser@napalearns.org. So Leslie, would you later or now, I guess, send me an alternate email address to this address? And I see if I could do that. Good. How about Maria? Does Maria in here? Maria, you're here too. Maria, could you do the same? Just send me an alternate email address. There's something wrong with that, with those email addresses that are not being delivered. Um, you may want to like check your spam folder. So when you send me an email, I'll reply with what I have. So maybe you could just log into that one, check your spam folder because it may get, it may have gotten, into the wrong folder. How about Paul? Paul Hollanders, I guess. Hollanders. Is Paul here? Paul? No. How about Sam? Sam Clark? Sam? No, Sam. How about, oh, Aiden wouldn't be here today. Christian. Is Christian here? Oh, Paul, you're here? Paul, would you do the same? Um, Send me an alternate email address to my email address. Would you do that? Just say yes. I'm monitoring the chat on this other computer. So Paul, you're going to do that for me. But Sam, did I miss Sam? No, we're good with Sam. And how about Christian? Is Christian here? By the way, if you guys have a microphone and you're not shy to talk, go ahead and turn it on. Um, and Isaac, is Isaac here? No, Isaac. Okay. So again, oh, yes,
Hello?
yes.
What if you don't have an alternative email?
What if you don't have another email? Just email me, so I'll send you what I have for you, Paul.
All right.
That way you could try. Let me actually see right here. You have oh, Paul. I have a Gmail account for you. Is
Yeah,
that
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, you may want to just email me again. I'll send it again. I'll just you know uh, resend it. Maybe it'll work. So we're good.
Okay.
Yeah, just send me. So both of you, I mean all of you that are going to send me an email, send me what you want, and then I could tell you what I have based on the roster that I got from Michelle. Okay. So I think we have 21 students in this class. So it's going to be, it's going to be a packed class. And you guys, when we start going with the coding part, make sure you stop me anytime you don't get something or you miss a step during the, writing the code or compiling the code or running it. So just feel free to stop me anytime. So the other thing I wanted to introduce you or tell you about is Kyle. Kyle DeLeon is going to be our TA. Do you guys, does anyone know Kyle already? Yeah? Good, good. So Kyle is going to be a TA. He's going to be a grader also. He's going to be active in the class. He'll have access to class. And and he'll be able to answer questions and everything. So and Paul, Kyle, you took my advanced class, right? The second
Yeah,
part. Yeah.
I took the class we're taking right now, but with a different teacher, and then I took the second class with you.
With me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Good.
But yeah, if you guys, I'll drop my like contact information in the chat. So if you guys want to hit me up for any like coding related questions, then let me know. I'll be glad to help.
Yeah,
Um,
and
yeah.
at the college here, we also have TAs in classes, and it's amazing how students don't feel comfortable at all, talking to us. It's always, students always um, a lot, feel a lot better just to talk to another student, a fellow student. So yeah, so use Kyle, and of course, if he ever gets stuck and he can't answer a question, then I can jump in. But yeah, so that's great. So Kyle is there. Yeah, if you could drop your good, Kyle dropped his information right there, so you guys use him. Okay, good. All right, so I'm going to go back to the course. So again, remember, this is what the course is going to look like. And let me move this thing over here so I can see. Oh, chat. All right. So your Zoom meeting link, obviously you all found it. The link will always be here. The course recordings are going to go on our YouTube channel. So if I click on this link, uh, no, have you guys used? Well, no, I think, yeah, you guys are in you're the first batch. So I'll tell you right here, I'll tell you exactly where to go in order to access the video, the recordings of this class activities. So that's where the recordings are going to be. Again, a link to our YouTube channel. Here's that tentative schedule of activities that I wanted to talk about. So I know some of you are probably going to be absent, maybe like, again, it's a 10-week course, a summer course, so you may have some plans. So this at a glance, remember we meet every Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. But if you happen to miss a class, like what we're doing on that day, on that night. So this week we're doing introduction, essentially, what we're just doing right now, and go over module 1. Next week we'll do module 2, and if we have time, we'll do some of we take the module 1 test in class together. But if I don't have time, then that's something that you'll do on your own. Um, and these tests are really good because they kind of measure your understanding of what you learned during that week or that module. You'll notice for the decision statements, we're using, I'm dedicating a whole week, a whole lecture to that. For loops, I have another lecture or another weekday. Lists or arrays are a little bit more, uh, could be a little bit more complicated. So I have 2 weeks devoted to that. So essentially, that's what we're going to talk about: lists, functions, tuples, and dictionaries. And then last week we do our review. That's going to be on August 11th. So this tentative schedule is always available for you in your course. So when you log in, people often complain, is like, where is everything? Well, everything is here, on this page when you log in. So again, I put my email address right up here, just so that you don't have to search for it, in another email message or anything like that, or another page. Is right up here. So if you have questions, this is the best way to get to me. Now, when you logged in, you notice that there's these 2 items. Accept you have to accept the terms and conditions, and you have to give them some, I guess, demographic data or something that they want. And then once you do that, then you get access to all the material. So notice I have an assignments. Oh, before that, I'm skipping. So right here, every week, I want you guys to check in. So if you click on this check in, link, you're going to see a week 1 check-in and a thread for all your discussions or for all your questions. So both Kyle and I monitor these questions all the time. And of course, if you know the answer to a question, feel free to reply to it and answer it, you know. But right now, if what I'd like you guys to do is just check in, and all you have to do is really go in here and, so I'm already checked in, right? And then all you have to do is, I think you can reply, right? Alma, is that what you did? You replied? Alma, you still there?
I think I did so, yes.
Yeah, good, good. Yeah, it's by the way, they changed the look and feel of this Canvas course last year. Is just a totally different interface. So yeah, just click on reply, and this is what I want then, right? From every one of you, tell me your name and tell me the date and time that you checked in. Again, I want you to do this during the, I guess, ideally you do this as soon as you log in at 6 p.m. on a Wednesday. And again, all your discussion questions, regular questions are going to be here. Same thing, you reply, you say, how do I, download, or I guess, how do I download Python? And then you say submit, right? Okay, cancel that. Now, let me ask you all while I catch my breath again, is how many of you have already worked with Python? Is anyone here who actually has done something with Python? Either put it in the chat or just a yes or no. No one? So no one has any experience with Python. How about general programming? Have you guys taken any programming courses at your school? Anyone? No programming? I think in text, let's see in the chat area, there is is there a way to give it a thumbs up or anything like that? Let's see. Okay. Oh, okay, Alma. I work with Chide, which is based off C++. Okay, good. So, and then Leslie, I work with Code High School. Okay, good, good. Oh yeah, I see the okay sign, so that's good. Good. I can use the print command. All right, good. I've gotten to classes with Python. I've gotten to classes, Jared. You mean you went all the way up to object-oriented programming? Is that what you mean by classes? Yep, OOP. Oh, okay. So Jared, shouldn't you be taking the second class? Because this class is just going to be the essentials, which doesn't include OOP. The second class, which is going to be probably in fall sometime, that's where we cover OOP, the second part. Okay, good. All right. So, and these are your assignments. So if you click on assignments, notice they all have a due date of next Wednesday. They always give you a week to do this. So, so essentially for this, you have to create a Python file for your answers. Essentially questions 1 through 5 is just, answers to essay type questions based on your reading of module 1. And question 6 is to write a program, a Python program to display this output. So remember the first module doesn't even talk about, about providing input or doing any kind of processing. So it's just a bunch of print statements. So yeah, all you do is you prepare your answers and then you submit it. And then this is what we graded, I suppose. So, and again, if you have any questions on how to submit files, definitely let us know. Um, and, um, and the answer to these questions, I want them right inside the Python file. So I'll show you right now, Python idle. So all you have to do is comment out your code so that the interpreter doesn't get confused. So I'm going to show you the environment. We use this Python idle. Let me bring it over here because, oh, you don't see it. How many of you guys are Windows users? Well, actually, yeah. How many of you are Mac users? Not that it matters, by the way. Leslie, you're a Mac user, me, 10.11, Mac. Okay, well, the good thing about Python is that whether you have Windows or Linux or Mac, it'll compile or run, or it'll run just fine. So what I usually use is the Python idle. Now you get this program after installing Python. So has anyone, Jared might, has anyone installed the Python program on their system? Yeah, Alma has. Okay, so I'll show you the module 1 essentially tells you where to go get it. So Ozzy, I've installed it, outdated version because, oh, okay. Yeah, we're going to require Python 3.9, or actually Python 3. So 3.8, 3.9, 3.7, any flavor of Python 3 is good. And again, I'll show you when we go module 1, the link to download it. The installation is really straightforward. You just download the executable file, you double click it, and you go through the installation wizard, and now you have your Python installed. So it's very straightforward. So this Python shell is essentially, it's like a command-driven programming environment. So I can actually do print, hello. So I can type code at the command line. So by the way, you probably guessed it, that print is the name of a function that actually prints something. And then the stuff inside the double quotes is the message that you display. So when I press enter, it prints hello, although I didn't spell hello correctly. So, but that's okay because it doesn't, care. Now, of course, if if I say print hello like that, obviously misspelling the function name. So when I press enter, I get an error message. Actually, it's totally bad, right? So does anyone know the name of this type of error? That it is
We
this. What's
we
that?
can't see your code.
Oh,
You
you
have to share
can't
your
see
whole
my
screen.
code?
Yeah.
No, you'll have to share your screen, not just the window.
Oh, I am so sorry about that. And let's see. Okay, I'm going to go back to my sharing again. I thought I had shared the whole window, but I guess I didn't. So yeah, nothing showed up, right? All right, let me do a new share. Oh, thanks for letting me know. Now, most students wait till it's too late before they tell me. How about now? I think you see it now, right? Yeah, sorry about that. That's good. Thanks for letting me know. So yeah, so this is what I did since you didn't see it. So print hello worked, and I misspelled print. So my question is, what is the name of this type of error? Any ideas? This type of errors? Kyle, any ideas?
It's a name error.
It's it's called a runtime error. Because it's happening at runtime, right? So yeah, it's and it's a name there because it says name PTINTT is not defined. Okay. Now, actually, I take this back because this is Python is an interpreted language. So this is actually called what's called a syntax error too, because you don't have the correct form or the correct function. No, you could use this as a, 2.4 times 8, right? Does anyone know the answer to that expression? 2 plus 4 times 8? What do you think I'm going to get? 34? 34? We don't get 48? So order of operations, right? 4 times 8 gets done first. So that's 32 plus 2 is 4. So we get 34. So you could use this shell as your, as like a calculator if you wanted to. All right. But what we do normally is we go here, you do file, new file. And you obviously don't see that new file there. Let me drag it over here. Oh, come on. It's not showing up. All right. I have to take over. I have to do a new share. Screen 1. Come on, take this. Is it working now? Oh, it's funny. Screen 1. Oh, screen 1 maybe. Okay, let's try this now. Okay, that's my screen 1. Does this show up? Oh, good. Yeah, so it's now the whole screen. All right, so file. Okay, so what I'll do is if I want to create a file, I'll just say file, new file. And it is kind of slow. So let's see. Where's, okay, that was the new file. Okay, so right here I say print. Okay, you can see it. Okay, so print hello world. So we just, print a message. Obviously, if you want to print more, the nice thing about the file version is that you can put in more than one line of code, because with the command-driven shell, you have to, you have to essentially run one at a time. All right, so obviously I created a syntax error right here because I didn't put the quotation there, but I want to go ahead and run it. And you can see that, so run module. So obviously when you want to run it, it will ask you to save it. And I'm just going to put it on the downloads, and I'm just going to call it test.py. You could just call it test, and it will pick up that expression, the extension for us. And so notice it ran, and it gave me this invalid syntax. And the reason for that was that I didn't put a quotation there. So you're going to get that through your programming life, right? A whole bunch of syntax errors because you're just not paying attention to the proper syntax of the language. So now notice it says hello world and bye, and obviously anything you ask you add, it will be added to that. So if I said, remember I had 2 plus 3 times, what was it? What was my expression? 2 plus 4 times 8, like that. So do you think this line will run? Yeah, I see Elmo says no, right? So I guess one way to figure it out is to actually run it, right? So when I run this code, it won't run because this, oops, what was it? It looks like it just skipped through all of that, right? So didn't give me anything, didn't give me any output, but it just didn't do anything. But if I wanted to actually know the value that's going to be returned, oh, so slow here. Okay, so if I said print, and then, now if I say print 2 plus 4 times 8 and run the module, then you're going to see, 34 also showing up. Okay, so we have to do something with it. So next week we'll talk about variables. So I could say x equals, 2 plus 4 times 8. So in other words, this is an expression that I'm creating. And then can I just say print x? And in that case, we create a variable, we set it to a value, and then we'll print that value. So we're going to get the same output except twice because I'm printing 34 again. So we'll talk about this, all of this, next week when we talk about essentially programming in Python. The other thing I wanted to show you in our course was if I go back to my course, yeah, so you guys see it. All right. So really what you need to do from now till next week is click on this module. And if it ever comes up. So basically, you're going to get this little interface where they give you some text, they give you some coverage of a concept, and a lot of times they have those little exercises that they'll test your understanding. So all you do is you just walk through these modules. So it's a lot of reading for next week. So the first thing is, how does a computer program work? So can anyone tell me what a computer program is? Like, if you can get on the microphone, like if someone asks you, what is a program? What would you tell them? I usually ask, what would you tell your grandma what a computer program is? Anyone have any ideas? No? You guys are pretty silent.
Well, to me, what I would say was it's just instructions to tell your computer to do like a bunch of work for you.
Exactly. That's what a computer program is. It's just a bunch of instructions to tell it what to do. So that's really the easiest way to tell people, right? So can I tell a computer program to calculate the taxes I owe? Right? I could do that, right? And in order for that computer program to do that, what do I have to give it? What information should I give it so that it'll start doing its thing? I want to calculate the federal taxes that I owe. What do you think? I don't know. Do you guys pay taxes at all, by the way? Any of you pay taxes yet? No? How about, do you guys work? Do you have jobs? Some of you? You have jobs? Good. How do you tell the computer to calculate your pay? What do you need to tell it?
Your income.
Your income, right? For taxes, you give it your income, right? And for
How
your,
much do you earn?
exactly. And then of course, there's like your marital status, right? Are you, filing single, or are you, married? If you have dependents, does that make any difference in calculation, right? So you give it that information. That's called input, right? Those are the things that go into the program. And then we have processing. Processing essentially is doing the job, right? Calculating the tax, and then output. So every computer program goes through what is called an IPO cycle. I stands for input, P for processing, and O for output. So how does a computer program work? You give it input, you tell it how to act on that input, and then it will give you what you need to calculate, right? Now, in order to do that, computers only understand zeros and ones, right? Computers only understand binary. So what we have to do is we have to use a language to actually talk to the computer. So that's why we have machine language, we have assembly language, and we have high-level programming languages. So what do you think Python is? Is it machine language? Is it assembly? Or is it high level? What do you think? Do you think Python is an example of a machine language or a high level language? And what's the difference? So Python is an example of a high-level language because you're talking to the computer with English-like statements. So the computer doesn't really understand that. So what compilers or interpreters do is that they take those English-like statements and convert it to bits, series of zeros and ones. So the nice thing is, if I wanted to, print the message "Hello World" in Python, I can just type the command print, "Hello World." But remember that another program takes that instruction and converts it to a series of bits that tells the computer to actually display what's inside those codes on the computer screen. Okay. And of course, natural languages are languages like spoken languages. So, you guys use Siri, right? Siri is an example of communicating with a natural language, right? We tell it, what's the weather outside, and, tell us, right? Now, what makes a language, and by the way, this is when we talk about programming languages, is very similar to spoken languages. So right now, if you were to start learning Japanese or, German, uh, what do you have to do, right? Do you have to know their alphabet? Do you have to know, the words that they use? Do you have to, learn their grammar, right? Because you have to know, how to construct sentences. So syntax is just a set of rules that we use in languages. And of course, alphabet is just the set of symbols we use. And semantics is meaning. So this is a good example, right? When you I guess hear someone saying I ate a donut, that makes perfect sense. But if you say a donut ate me, doesn't make sense. So semantically, it's wrong. So language is made up of those four things: the alphabet, the lexis, the syntax, and the semantics. So in this example, 2 plus 4 times 8, is that the same as 2 times 8 plus 4? Do they have the same meaning? Somebody say no. They don't, right? Because they have different meanings to us, obviously, and of course they have different meaning to the computer. So, by the way, when you hear the word source code, that's just this code right here, right there. That's our source code. So sometimes I say, well, just upload your source code. That's what we mean. That's your Python file. And this is where I wanted to say that right now, if I say question 1, Python is a type of snake, right? So somebody said, hey, what is Python? That's your answer. Q2, 10 weeks. I guess that's the question too. How long is our semester here? So right now, I'm going to go ahead and run this. And so when I do that, I get a syntax error because right here, apparently it found out that there is a syntax error, right? So in order to tell Python that this is just the answers to some of the questions I have, you simply highlight it, you go to format, and you click on comment out region, and now it's commented out. So when you run the module again, it's going to work just fine, except that it doesn't like this one. And now it's going to run just fine. So, so for your homework assignment, this is what I meant for the answers to questions 1 through, I think, 5 or 6. Just highlight it and then go to format, or you can just put a pound sign or hashtag sign, I suppose, right before. One or more will actually comment an entire line. Okay. So that's your source code. The other thing I wanted to show you, so compile versus interpret. So when we talk about compiling a code, that essentially means that we use another computer program to convert our code into machine language and create an executable file that we can run it. So compiled code will run faster because you spend some time to combine it into one set of instructions and run through it. Interpretation, on the other hand, is when your code is run one line at a time. So based on this, demo that I just did, do you think Python is a compiled language or is it interpreted? Compiled or interpreted? Somebody is saying something? You can.
Is it both? Because like you have the command line interface where it doesn't have to, like, it doesn't really it does it on the fly. It translates it on the fly, and then you have the more of like the programming where you can do it many things at the same time.
Yeah, so if this was a compiled code, I would run it and then I'll create another file and then I'll run that file to actually see everything, to process the data. So right now, based on what you just saw, would you say, is it interpreted or compiled? So Elma says interpreted, right? And that's right, because it is interpreting line by line. It's not creating another file with a set of libraries and putting them all together. So you often see that Python is referred to as a interpreted language. So again,
A question.
sure.
If you consider the source code that we downloaded, the Python source code, will that be considered a compiler?
You mean the Python program?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, when you download Python, when you went to that download.org, right, and downloaded the file, that's essentially contains a set of libraries and a set of code to actually take care of your code. So yes, that code that you actually installed on your machine, that's considered like a compiled code. So remember, this idle that I typed, by the way, the way I brought this, I don't know if you guys probably didn't see it. I just went to my search window, search bar in the Windows taskbar, and I just typed idle and it came up. That idle program is a part of that installation. Does that make sense? So when you install this, you've installed a whole bunch of libraries, a whole bunch of other code that's gonna go and act upon your code. So they've got the advantages and disadvantages of compiled versus interpretation. So these, by the way, might be some questions that you might get on a certification exam. Just, again, true, false type questions. So Python, was created by Guido van Rossum, but Python is really a public domain or an open source language. So thousands and thousands of developers actually help with creating the language. Now, one of the things you're going to find out is that Python is really a small language, but it's built based on additional libraries. So, the shell itself, the language itself is small. So your code could be very small, but then the more libraries you begin to bring in, because you want to do more with it, then the bigger the programs get. So one thing they keep talking about the fact that Python is easy. Python is easy to learn, it's easy to teach, easy to use, easy to understand, and easy to obtain. I can tell you that it's really easy to obtain, install, and deploy, right? You just go to download.org, you click on the Python version you want, you install it, it's done, right? It's easy now, and it is easy to use because it doesn't have a lot of overhead. Again, as far as the language is concerned, has anyone worked at all or seen Java? By the way, Java programs. Anyone with Java?
Yeah, I've been learning it.
So like in Java, if you wanted to say print hello, you actually have to create a class, and then you have to create a main method, and then write your statement to print hello world. In other words, you have to write like 4 lines of code in order to just do one thing, right? Same with C++. You have to include some namespaces or libraries that allow you to print something. But with Python is so easy, right? You just saw me. I just typed print in the message, and very easy. Now, is it easy to teach? I think it is, but easy to learn. I would say I think Python is among the easier languages to understand. But remember, the hardest part of programming is understanding the problem you're solving. So the language itself is just a tool. So you could know the answers to all the true false type questions on a Python exam, but you may not know how to use it to solve a real world problem. So I just want to make sure you understand that, the Python is just a tool in order to communicate to the computer, but you still have to do all the hard work of identifying the requirements, identifying the input, the processing, and of course, what and how you want something to be displayed. So again, read this stuff. This is good stuff. And then, and we have different versions of Python, Python 2 and Python 3. We have CPython or Python, different flavors of Python, which you can read on your own. There's about 7 more minutes. So this is where I wanted to get to. So if you click on python.org downloads, again, Alma, you already installed it. Did anyone else install Python on their machine? I may have missed it. So you guys see my window? Yep. So if I were you, I would just download the latest version of Python 3.9.5. Now notice this is, they have it available for Windows, Linux, and Mac OS X. So if you have a Mac, yep, I'll put it up there too. And the good thing is also right here in your reading. And this window look familiar? This is kind of like the shell that we just talked about. It's just a different color. So yeah, you just click download, install, you're good to go. And you do get a command prompt just like that. So they just give you add Python to your path. Now, look at the checkbox. Yeah, this checkbox, you'll see when you install it, this checkbox is really important because if you don't check it, then you have to go manually in the Windows environment variables and set the path. Now, if you guys install Python and you forgot to check that box, just let me or Kyle know. Just put something in the discussion. We'll just tell you how easy it is to just go to the environment variables and add the path. Okay. So really, your homework for next week is to download Python and create that little test program, and make sure you're able to actually run it, to interpret and run it. Okay. So the next screen is going to be, why is this so slow? Okay, so starting work with Python. So you've got your editor, which we talked about, and then there's a debugger also, but we're not going to talk about debugger. So one thing, this is what the program we're using. IDLE is a acronym for Integrated Development and Learning Environment. Usually you hear the word IDE, which is just Integrated Development Environment. So LE is another name for that. Now, does anyone know names of other tools that allow you to not compile, to write Python code and run it? Does anyone know? Has anyone heard of other applications that let you do that?
Eclipse, I think.
Yep. Eclipse
And
is
then-
good. NetBeans is good. And there's actually a website, just called repel.it or repel it. And with this website, you can just write your code, and run it in a browser. And they put, you just click start coding, and let's see, they want a user. Oh, they want to sign up, but you can log in. But in the old days, you only needed an account if you wanted to save your code. Well, it looks like right now they want you to log in. So you can log in with Google or Facebook or whatever. So, but anyway, so that's, so you got that. But you don't have to worry about that because you already have idle. But again, that means an Eclipse. On Macs, Xcode is a good tool, good IDE to use. And so this is, they're just doing, having you do some exercise. And this is what I meant by, them, how to spoil and fix your code, which I showed you already, right? How do I change something? So you already saw this error message, right? Invalid syntax. And you're bound as a programmer, your entire, well, I say, a good chunk of your programming life will be devoted to these errors, to say, to find them and then save them. Now, one thing about Python, which is, I guess, which is cool, and of course, other languages, some other IDEs are better than others. So notice right here, if I just misspell print, right? So if I say pprint, so if I run it, and that's true, by the way, in most, environments, when you look at a set of error messages, usually, we start from the top and then we drill down. With Python, you always want to start at the bottom, right? So it says, so in other words, you don't read all of that stuff. It says, oh, there's a name error. And then it says, this is not defined. So hopefully that gives you enough, ammunition to say, oh, well, that's where the error happened. But then right above it tells you the exact line. Now, there are some IDEs, like especially like NetBeans or Eclipse um, or Xcode. Usually, if you just double click on the error message, it will take you to the source code. But this shell doesn't. So you kind of have to, find out where it is. And it doesn't even have to give you line numbers because the idle doesn't have line numbers. And oh, good. So congratulations, you just completed this. So that would be a task for next week. And any, oh, before I go, here's a sandbox, by the way. If you click on sandbox, they kind of give you an environment. So even if you didn't want to install anything, you could actually use their sandbox. Of course, like anything else is always limited. So if I do that, if I just click the run button here, then I can see my output right there. If I misspell this and run it, then it's gonna give me the error message right there. And you can, refresh your console. So I don't recommend using their sandbox, but it's there if you want to, right? Because if you use idle, then you save it as a file, and then you can upload it and play with it. All right, good. I talked a lot. Any questions at all? We good?
This is not a question, but I just remember when I was doing like the first modules and stuff, I felt like sort of overwhelmed, especially if you like never coded before. It can be a lot just to be like, yeah, like get like a lot to take in at once. So yeah, just I'll say again, just like don't hesitate to like hit me or Nazar up just for like to clarify anything. It could save you like a lot of time. And once you do get past like the initial barrier of like setting everything up and like understanding sort of the fundamentals of what you're doing, coding gets like really fun, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And another thing is like you're also at the same time like Nazar kind of mentioned is like you're learning coding, like writing the code, like the words itself, but at the same time you're also learning like how to problem solve and like coding principles and everything, to sort of like translate that into like code. So like, well, I imagine it is like you're writing the code, right? But in your head, you're like just thinking of the solution. The code is just a way to translate it into like to put it in text,
Yeah.
but really like the actual work that's going on is all in your head to like find out the solutions and stuff. Yeah.
So
And then just some advice. Sorry, I know we're kind of over time, but like, I'd say to take notes, like on like a notebook or something throughout the course is just why I recommend for like the exam and stuff. It's useful to have. And I also recommend using like VS Code or like not using idle, using like a coding program just because it made my life a lot easier.
oh yeah, yeah. VS Code is really good. You know, Visual Studio obviously is good. One thing about these, you know, IDEs like NetBeans, Eclipse, VS Code is that they themselves at times have a learning curve, right? So in other words, you have to create a project or you have to, you know, where they are. So I usually tell in my classes, I say, let's start with idle. Let's just get with the coding part. Once you're familiar with that, once you're a little bit comfortable, then, you know, maybe in a couple of weeks, you say, oh yeah, let me try that VS Code, because now the coding is obvious for you. Now you just have to learn that, you know, the learning curve of the IDE. But yeah, great suggestion, because, you know, in the old days, we just use, I mean, we still do, we just use Notepad. You know, you go in your Notepad, you type your code, and you save it. You go to a command prompt, and then say, okay, interpret this, right? You say Python 3 space, the name of the file, right? So there was no, you know, color coding. There's no line numbers, and I'm not saying the old days were good necessarily, but it kind of forced you to not to rely so much on. I mean, you've seen these IDEs. They even auto complete things for you, right? You type print, it already puts the parentheses around it for you. Well, it makes it too lazy, I think. Um, so for a beginning programming class, I always say the first few weeks, let's just do, you know, the hard work, you know, let's say, and then people always say, well, where's the line numbers? You know, why can't I edit this correctly? Why can't I change the interface? Well, be patient, you'll get there. But like Kyle was saying, that the hardest part of the programming is that problem solving aspect. So we always, I always, you know, for a regular college course, we spent a good couple of weeks on pseudocode development, which essentially means that you write your recipe, your instructions, just on a piece of paper or type it up, but everything is all English-like statements, no coding, right? And then you convert that pseudocode or that algorithm into code. Now, the nice thing is, if you did a good job on that recipe, then a Python programmer can use it to create the Python code, and a Java programmer can use it to create a Java code. So, so think about that problem solving is creating that recipe, and obviously, just like cooking recipe, if it's good, if it's step by step, if everything is precise, then everyone could follow that and make that dish. So what Kyle is saying is that, yeah, you're writing code, but in your head, you're designing it. We actually have to do it backwards. We have to design it first and then write code. But I could tell you that a majority of programmers, they see a problem, right? They jump into VS Code or idle and start typing code. And most of them will fail, just because the more complicated the problems get, the harder it will get to because now you have to worry about the syntax, right? Not only it's hard enough to know how to write the steps of this program, I also have to worry about the syntax. Do I use brackets? Do I use parentheses? Is it one tick mark, two tick marks, stuff like that? So, but yeah, great advice. Good. We are going over a bit, but I'm okay if you guys are okay. So, so is everyone okay for what we're doing for next week? Me? Did I? Now, I guess be honest. Did I confuse any of you guys? Did I bore you guys? I know I'm boring, but I hope it's not too boring. Or no? Was it good? Did you guys Enjoy it? Yeah, good. Okay, good. So, so that's it. If there aren't any questions, like I said, look for the video recording as soon as it's available. It takes a couple of hours, I think. Well, no, actually, it's 1 hour is not that bad. But I will post it in our YouTube channel and I'll update that page to tell you how to get it.
Yeah, and I just want to like reiterate, like I already said this, but like don't hesitate to reach out to me or Nazir because it can save you a lot of time, and like a lot of like it save you like a lot of mental stress to just hit us up and we'll probably like some to like help you with the problem that you've already seen, especially when you're starting out because there's a lot of errors, and a lot of things to explain that like you can't really search up on Google.
So that is so true. Yeah. Good. You guys have a good night. I think we say goodbye. If there aren't any questions.
There's a question in the chat.
Oh, yes.
This,
Link,
I mean,
like
yeah.
module 1. Oh, is there a naming convention you want us to use? Oh, did I tell you in that? Did I give you the, oh, I didn't give you a
I
format.
didn't see it.
Let's see. I'm usually good with, oh, yeah. Yeah, I would definitely use your first dot last name. I'll update this, by the way. Yeah, use your first dot last name, and then the homework number. So it'll be,
Okay.
you know, Nasser.Harabi _ HW1. I'll update this, well, I could do it right now. Yeah, let's use this format. Create a Python file. I'm just going to say, use the format. Good. Any other questions? First _ last _ HW1 dot hi. Yes, all right. That was a great question. Who asked that question? I think it was Elma. Hi, Elma. Good. By the way, again, I keep saying by the way because there's always think that I'm missing something. So the purpose of this course is again to get you prepared for the first certification exam, which is called PCEP. And then, by the way, right here, this course curriculum. Do you guys see my? You do? Yeah, you do. This guy right there. It gives you the information about certification. So by the end of this semester, in 10 weeks, you'll be able to get this PCEP test right here, Certified Entry-Level Python Programmer. They tell you how many, by the way, by the end of the semester, we'll talk about like how many questions there are, how to prepare for it and all that. And then when you take the second class, that will get you ready for PCAP, which is the Python Associate Programmer. Okay, and I think Kyle, you passed both, right? You passed the second.
Yes.
Yeah.
The first one was easy. The second one, like, barely passed it. But
second one is object-oriented programming and modules and packages, and it's a lot more complicated. Yeah. But by the way, the last time I think in our second class we ended up with only 4 students, and I think 2 passed PCAP. So. But this semester we're starting with 21, so I'm hoping to keep all of you for the second course in fall. If you like this and you have the time, I think it's good to take both classes.
yes, it looks good on like applications and stuff.
Oh yeah. Just imagine, if you have on a resume or on an interview, you say, yeah, I took this class and I passed this. It's pretty good. So good. I'll stop right here. If there aren't any questions, I will stop the video and I'll see you guys next week at 6 p.m. Okay. Bye,
Bye,
guys.
everybody.
Excuse me.
Yes.
So I downloaded the newest version 3.9.5, and then among the files that I see in my downloads, there's an application one, and it brings up the black and white the black and white version screen.
Oh, okay.
It does this. Huh?
Are you in Windows? You're in Windows or Mac?
I am Windows.
Windows. There's a search button at the bottom of the window, on your taskbar.
Yeah, like bottom left.
Yeah. Can you type IDLE in there? Just IDLE.
Idle. Yeah, it comes
Does
up.
does it come up with idle? Yeah, go ahead and click on it. It will be the same thing that I just demoed. Does it look and feel the same as what I just showed you?
Give me a sec.
Give
Oh
it
yeah,
some time. Yeah.
yeah.
Do you see up top it says file and then new? You can do file new.
Okay.
Yeah, just do a print hello world, yeah, so you definitely have it
Okay.
on your system. And when you save it, by the way, I would highly recommend that you save it in like a folder, maybe called Napa Part 1 or Napa Python 1, just for organization. So
Okay.
yeah, good. You got it then, right?
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Oh, sure. Anytime. By the way, we could do these Zoom meetings like really quick. Both Kyle and I can do this. So yeah, I mean, tomorrow, if you're really stuck, just email us. We'll do a Zoom and then we'll share screen and we'll get it done. So, okay, good. Anything else? Going once, twice, three. I'm stopping recording, guys.